Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways, family, and that you're moving into living in your own narrative, that you're spiritually awakening. And we actually are going to be writing either a book or having some kind of, curriculum, family, putting all these ideas that we've been talking together in one place so that maybe we can do some live shows around them, especially around this thing called ancestors. Our beloved ancestors, family. I get so many emails from various different dimensions. Some people who've been taught all their lives that worshiping the ancestors is wrong. First of all, it's not about worshiping the ancestors. The only one you should be worshiping is the one who gave you the breath of life, and that is the most high creator, the supreme architect. There is none above that overarching spirit, that is the greatest of them all. And we can't even have any kind of real inner and understanding of what that force is, of what that spirit is, of what that being is. It's beyond our comprehension, literally. But, communing with the ancestors is extremely important in this realm, family, because they're the only ones who can be like your guardian angels in this world, having had this experience. And, they can offer us many things, because when we connect with our ancestors, whatever is in our bloodlines, we can either release it, because you see, we inherit both the good and the bad from our line of ancestors, family. So we inherit. That's why you'll hear diabetes is hereditary, or when for those who, anyway, let me not even get into that, and things like that, where you hear like there's certain generational curses, alcoholism, all these things, mental illness, all these things are kind of passed down from one generation to another. And there's also gifts that are passed down from one generation to another. So you'll find if I was a prophet, probably my grandmother was a prophet, my great-great-grandmother was a prophet, and somehow I tapped into that gift, or that came in my bloodline already activated. So there's a lot of work that we are here to do, especially in this end time, that is all about healing our bloodlines, restoring our bloodlines, especially as chosen ones. And that's why we get in touch with the ancestors. And, I've been talking about doing this show. I know several of you have asked me about it, about how our ancestors and our spiritual team has been upgraded. And it's kind of connected to today's topic. So we can connect to different ancestors along the bloodline and get giftings from them, get certain grace from them, get protection from them, get advice from them, and many, many other things. It's like a mighty gold mine resource, especially if you know you're an ancient one, especially if you know your bloodline goes deep, especially if you're melanated, family. Because right now we're in the great reset, and I've done a show on how nature is resetting as well as the New World Order. And with nature's reset, we have access to some ancient bloodlines that we can go back to and activate. And that's why there's so much shifting in the ancestral beings that we are interacting with. So what has happened, family, is it's very beneficial to you to connect with your ancestors, especially in this season, especially in this pivotal time. And the reason we build altars for them where we put their pictures, we have candles, some give offerings of food, alcohol, whatever. The reason we'll sing for our ancestors and things like that is because we want to get their attention. We want them to be interested in our lives. When I was meditating and praying about this, the way the Great Spirit put it to me, or the way my spiritual team put it to me, is like, when you travel to the other side of the world, at first you'll be always calling, your family, your friends, to see how home is, what's going on, did so-and-so do this, did this happen, did this wedding go down, and you'll be kind of kept in the loop for the first year as you're now pulling your narrative from there and building a new narrative for yourself, a new home, etc., getting to know your community. So that's what will happen like the first year or two. And then the third or fourth year, You'll only hear from family when someone dies, or when someone's getting married, or when something, someone gives birth. So it becomes like the significant stories pull you back, and so you'll check in once in a while. But now you've got your life. You're established there, you have your flow, you have your work, you have maybe a family, maybe you've even gotten married and had children. So your whole world has shifted to this new place, and you're more disconnected from that place. So the only way that they can get in touch with you is when they call you. Because for them, their world hasn't changed. So they can call you and be like, oh, this happened, oh, so-and-so's getting married, send us some money, help us to buy the bridesmaids, whatever, And that's the only way you engage in that. Well, that process, family, is what happens when someone moves on into the other side, when someone dies, when someone ascends, whatever you want to call it. When they leave this world, they go back to their cosmic realms. They go back to their cosmic life, where life is much longer than here. This is like a blink of the eye. So they go back to their families in the cosmic realms, in their own worlds, in their own universes, and their storyline there. And they use the experience that they had here on Mama Earth as like, to add to their growth, their elevation, etc., etc. But they're no longer connected here because now they're back home. And for many, especially with, where Mama Earth has been during these dark ages, they're so happy to see this life go. They're so happy to release and go back. And so for us, when we want to call on our ancestors, it's like calling on those family members and friends who have moved halfway across the world and you never hear from them anymore. We want to get their attention. And that is why we make an asserted effort to connect them and hook them. That's why we leave them offerings. That's why we burn candles for them. That's why we put roses on our altar for them. That's why we have their pictures on our altar, so that we can call their spirit back, because their spirit don't want to come back. It's like, And now what's happened, and I'm going to get into this in the next video, is that the ancient ones now are back. Some of the ancestors are back. And because we were alive when they were alive, they now have more of a vested interest. And that's why you're seeing such a shift in energy because of the chosen ones, because the chosen ones came from back there. So it's easier for them to connect to some super powerful energies. That's why in this season, there's so many gods and goddesses whose presence is back, especially the Egyptian one, the Sekhmets, the Bastets, the Hathor, who we don't know. It's only what Babylon has told us, or what you spiritually and intuitive are taught. But otherwise, you can't rely on what Babylon says about that. But those goddess and god energies are back because the people who existed, either they're back even physically, or the people that they existed within those times are also back here. And so they now have an interest, because that's like they had a personal relationship. They know how difficult Mama Earth is to survive, And so they're now engaged here. And that's what's changing everything, family. That's what's bringing this incredible energy into these seasons and times. But you commune with your ancestors, because they are the ones who have had the physical experience here on Mama Earth. And they have so much to share, so much to reveal, so much to expose, because for them, they have no vested interest in how they share the truth with you, be it about family members, be it about the global order and how it's trying to control people, being about presidents and local leadership in your country. They have nothing to hide, so they'll tell you as it is. And some of the things they reveal, you're like, oh my God, what? But you now have to recognize that you need to make the concerted effort to reach out to them, because they can also, if they get interested enough, they can also come in a much bigger way, family, and start to actually influence and dictate things in your atmosphere. They can start to switch back. They can be your spiritual army, defending you, protecting you, exposing lies, and they can make you. These are, it's our ancestors that give us that heightened prophecy. Because I can say my prophetic giftings, it's almost like and for many prophets who I interact with and seers, it's your ancestors on your shoulders who are like, this person's like this person belongs to a lesbian ring, whatever, they'll reveal the deepest, darkest secrets of that person. And also now, you see, because the only ancestors we've been dealing with, why we need to get used to calling on our ancestors, because the only ancestors we're dealing with now are like our immediate lost ones who are still kind of hooked into what's happening here, what happened to so-and-so, what's going on with so-and-so, and they may not be at the level that we'd want to deal with. And that's why, remember, I did do a show on how we must disconnect from our Babylonian ancestors by going deeper, family. So so they're the ones who still have a vested interest, and they're the ones who are still trying to interfere in life. So you want to go deeper into those who were real psychics, real healers, real leaders, who had real power, who existed when the Mama Earth was on even a higher dimension of thought, of love, of reality. Those are the ones that you want to connect with. And in order to connect with them, you got to give them a call. You got to video conference them, and then you got to keep them interested. If you invite, it's like now trying to invite, and I'm winding up with this, trying to invite your relative back from Europe. You'd have to provide a place. There's so many things you'd have to do. They'd only come on a special occasion. And then to keep them there, you'd have to keep them entertained, keep them accommodated, keep them happy, keep them whatever. It's the same with our ancestors' family. Anyway, let me know if you get this. And I'd love to hear your perspective as well, especially those who communing with our ancestors is a living, breathing, daily thing. It's like it happens every moment. Anyway, please connect with your passed on beloved ancestors and then keep going deeper, because you need all the assistance you can get your hands on, because there's been a heavy veil over our eyes, over our spiritual first eye, and that veil is being lifted, and we need that extra assistance, that extra team to kind of help us to navigate through these very tricky times and to give us the courage and the energy to do so. Tuko pamoja.